Hey, I'm Carly and I create art, COVID-informed content, and discuss the dangers of generative AI. Today, I want to share a little bit more about why generative AI is such a problem and why it's putting our futures in jeopardy. A single generative AI text query consumes energy at 30 times the magnitude of a typical search engine request. And according to a Pew Research Center study, that single generation could use up a whole bottle of water for the cooling that's required at those data centers. And generating a single image using AI consumes the same amount of energy as charging a phone to full power. And that's not all. Data centers that are continuously working to complete tasks used 4% of US electricity in 2023, and that number is expected to jump 7 to 12% in the next 3 years alone. Generative AI has significant environmental impacts largely due to the high energy required to train and use language models, the water that is needed to cool equipment, and the pollution associated with the production of chips and servers. Even if our electricity consumption was 100% renewable, use of AI has infrastructure and energy demand that would require more than can be produced by renewables alone. One single ChatGPT generation uses the power of 30 search engine queries. That's 30 times the power for a less accurate, slower response. That's because a large language model is, by definition, just really large. It's a very energy-intensive process. That energy is converted into heat, and we need to get rid of the heat, and water evaporation is one of the most efficient ways to cool down the data center facilities. That's why we also use a lot of water in addition to the energy. In the US, roughly 80% to 90% of the water consumption from data centers is coming from public water sources. We're really looking at consumption here from these data centers, not withdrawal. So before you ask ChatGPT a question or try stealing from artists by generating an image, think about if you want to have drinkable water in the year 2030. Finally, and this one's important, we talk a lot about the environmental impact of generative AI, but there are also serious ethical concerns with these tools. AI poses a serious risk to increase technology-facilitated gender-based violence and discrimination against trans and queer individuals. AI also powers facial recognition systems that force a gender binary, discriminating against our non-binary siblings. At the end of the day, AI systems create algorithmic discrimination by design. We have to stand up against these billionaires who want us using AI, not just for our environment, but for our LGBTQ+ family. Give me a follow and share this with a friend if you're ready to save our environment, support the queer community, and stop using AI.